Well, Tyler, this week you put out a story talking about the three things you learned from Notre Dame football spring practice. What stood out for you?
Yeah, specifically talking about the quarterbacks is what that article was all about, and that's the that's the emphasis of any spring practice, especially one that Notre Dame just had, where you have a three-way competition, and that's what Marcus Freeman called it at the very beginning of the spring. So, really, those are the three things that I kind of focused on in that article. Is what did we learn about those three guys? Let's start with Steve Angeli. He's no longer here, so what that told me is that there was just something missing there, Darren, that could have taken him over the top. We saw him come into all these games for Notre Dame over the last couple of seasons, and he looked phenomenal. But that was garbage time, and we all know that a lot of those reps were not very meaningful. But he does come in and wins a Sun Bowl. He goes into the Orange Bowl against Penn State and helps Notre Dame win that game. But, Darren, when you look at the course of, say it's a 60-minute football game, right? And Steve Angeli's got to be out there for 60 minutes against a Penn State or a Georgia or someone of that caliber. I even put it in that article. Would Steve Angeli gone down to Texas A&M in week one and have beaten the Aggies on the road in front of 110,000 people? I'm not sure. Riley Leonard didn't make the mistakes in that game that can cost a road team. And he made, quite frankly, some plays in the fourth quarter that were winning football plays. So in the totality of Steve Angeli being at Notre Dame, it just felt like something was missing to take him over the top. So we learned that about him. What did we learn about Kenny Minchey? A lot of people were probably doubting his potential, and I don't think he got enough credit to begin with in terms of coming into Notre Dame and being a guy that can maybe be the future face of this program. He is in that rare air right now where he's winning a two-way competition away from being Notre Dame's starting quarterback at Miami and then against Texas A&M and going forward. So we learned that we probably didn't give him enough credit going into this competition. And then CJ Carr, what we learned about him, he's right where he needs to be, and I think he's right where he wants to be. And I, in that article, kind of made a comparison to where Steve Angeli was as a sophomore in his Notre Dame career. And where was that? Behind Sam Hartman, and then he was behind Riley Leonard as a junior. And that's kind of tying those first and third things together there, Darren, is that Steve Angeli was missing something. I don't think CJ Carr is missing that something. Whatever it is that takes a quarterback over the top and makes him QB1, CJ Carr is in a much better place in terms of depth chart and roster standing than Steve Angeli was when he was a sophomore. So I think the sky's the limit for him. It seems like Notre Dame has two very good options to choose from at quarterback.
There's always a lot of intrigue around an old Irish quarterback, Tyler Buchner, who of course went to Alabama, actually started a game for the Crimson Tide, eventually worked his way back to South Bend, a member of the lacrosse team, and now a wide receiver on the Irish football team, and at times a key part of special teams. So now the Irish are down a quarterback with Angeli now at Syracuse. Tyler, what do you think about the possibility of Buchner rejoining the quarterback room, even if it's just to help out with what I would call the pitch count during fall camp? You don't want your quarterbacks to throw too much. Could he be a very positive addition to the quarterback room? And do you think the coaches might go that direction?
I think it's a matter of time. I think Tyler Buchner is going back to the Notre Dame quarterback room because it makes all the sense in the world for some of the reasons that are right there in front of you. Like you said, Steve Angeli is no longer at this football program. You still have enough quarterbacks from CJ Carr to Kenny Minchey, Blake Hebert, the freshman, and I think Anthony Rizak is one heck of a walk-on. So do you really need to add another walk-on, which is what Tyler Buchner is, by the way. He's a walk-on wide receiver. Do you need to add that to the room? Probably not. You probably have enough. Should you? Absolutely, because I think he would provide more value in that quarterback room than he is for the Notre Dame wide receiver room, which is one that's getting better, mind you. You're bringing in some more reinforcements. Malachi Fields, namely, the headliner there coming in over the summer, is going to make your wide receiver room better. Will Pauling's going to be a lot healthier in the summer and the fall than he was in the spring. The true freshman that Notre Dame brought in and got all those spring reps, I think you're in a very good spot there. So then you look at the quarterback room and you're saying, why wouldn't you bring Tyler Buchner into that? He started more games than anyone else. Nobody has started any games in that quarterback room. So as good as it is with Carr and Minchey and those guys, Tyler Buchner started at Ohio State. He's a bowl game MVP against an SEC opponent. You know, he's been in the wars. He's been in the trenches. So I think you bring him over there. He's got a good relationship with Gino Guidugli. It sounds like it's a no-brainer to me. And does that mean Tyler Buchner wants the present and the future of Notre Dame quarterbacking? Is that again just by adding him to that room? Probably not. You're probably never going to see Tyler Buchner start another game for Notre Dame again. But this is a crazy time in college football. Who knows if Kenny Minchey is on this roster in 2026, for example. So, and I'm saying that because we've seen players leave in the middle of seasons, even though they've already redshirted. So I'm not saying Kenny Minchey is going to leave, but if Kenny Minchey wasn't on this roster on, I don't know, September 30th, would people be completely shocked by that? I don't think so. So in that case, get Buchner in that room as soon as you can. Provide some depth there. He's got wisdom to shed on these younger guys. So I think it's a no-brainer.